good evening. Welcome to the Millennium TV Main Evening Bulletin. I'm your caster, Given Banda. We take a look at stories making headlines. ZRA thwarts 80,000 litres ethanol smuggling. Government urged to keep its promise on handing over KCM to Vedanta. Trade Kings Foundation hands over a renovated mother's shelter to UTH at a cost of over 400,000 kwacha. Realign budgets to respond to threatening food security, stakeholders urged. 314 volunteers recruited by the Ministry of Health. In international news, Nigeria's Dangote to set up oil trading arm for Lagos mega refinery. And in sports news, athletes urged to exhibit good professional behavior. Details coming up shortly. Stay tuned.
It was all in my head. Fruticana zona.
Fruticana. Feel the rhythm, taste the fun.
Now the news in detail. The Zambia Revenue Authority ZRA has intercepted and seized 2 trucks carrying 320 drums of ethanol with a total estimated revenue loss of 3.3 million kwacha. One of the trucks had the ethanol classified as methylene chloride, while the ethanol carried on the other truck was not declared, after realizing that ZRA officers were vigilant and decided to apply for re-exportation. ZRA Corporate Communications Manager Oliver Nzala says in the first case, the ethanol was correctly declared on the Botswana side, but it was attempted to be smuggled into Zambia through misclassification as methylene chloride and gross undervaluation. He adds that the seizure of the trucks came after the ZRA Mobile Enforcement Unit received intelligence information that certain importers of ethanol had changed the description of goods on the commercial documents from ethanol to methylene chloride in order to smuggle the consignments through misclassification. Mr. Nzala says the ethanol was imported from South Africa through Kazungula one-stop border post.
The Zambia Revenue Authority impounded and seized two trucks that are carrying at least 80,000 liters of ethanol. We're talking about one truck carrying 160 containers and the other truck carrying also 160 containers. Now what happened is that these trucks, upon reaching the entry point, which is Kazungula one-stop border post, one truck was declared as having carried methylene chloride, and also the values were also reduced in terms of the original invoice values from about 1 million rands to about 200,000 rands. So that was another case of undervaluation. The other truck, upon realizing that the ZRA officers were vigilant, applied for re-exportation, which of course raised some eyebrows. So as Zambia Revenue Authority, we did move in to quickly verify what these trucks were carrying, and upon inspection we discovered that all the trucks were carrying ethanol. This is ethanol with about 96.2% alcohol. So this is undenatured ethanol. Again, when you look at the estimated total revenue loss, it's about 3.38 million kwacha.
Vice President Mutalena Lumango has encouraged youth to be self-reliant and enterprising so that they can transform their lives and contribute to national development. In a speech read for her by Minister of Water, Sanitation and Development, Mike Imposha, Ms. Lumango says youth should take advantage of the available opportunities to effectively contribute to the economic development of the country. He adds that government has come up with various empowerment opportunities for the youth, and as such, the youths should take advantage of them and lessen their dependency on government jobs. Ms. Nalumango further says it is the New Dawn government's commitment to see to it that all youths, regardless of political affiliation in the country, benefit from the readily available youth empowerment.
As government, we desire to have a population of young people with strong entrepreneurial skills and capabilities. We want our youth to be self-reliant, enterprising, and outward-looking. Our youth should be able to take advantage of the available opportunities to transform their lives in order for them to contribute to national development. These aspirations are clearly articulated in our 8th National Development Plan. Distinguished invited guests and the youth. The Youth Careers Fair provides a platform for you, our young people, to explore diverse career paths, given valuable insights from seasoned professionals, and connect with potential employers.
A consortium of civil society organizations, CSOs, championing for the revamping of the mining sector has demanded that government sticks to its promise of handing over Konkola Copper Mine back to Vedanta Resources. Speaking on behalf of CSOs, Samuel Banda says handing over KCM to Vedanta will help the nation amidst the prolonged drought that has been declared a national disaster by President Hakainde Hichilema. Mr. Banda, who is also Advocates for National Development and Democracy, ANDD, has noted that as Zambia grapples with the devastating effects of the current drought, it is imperative for government to strategically align its priorities towards mining development to stimulate economic recovery. Mr. Banda says while the agriculture sector remains vulnerable to climate change-induced challenges, the mining industry stands as a resilient pillar capable of driving growth and stability.
While the agriculture sector remains vulnerable to climate change-induced challenges, the mining industry stands as a resilient economic pillar capable of driving growth and stability. As organizations advocating for sustainable mining development in our country, we feel that for the mining sector to work effectively and efficiently and deliver development for the benefit of Zambians, policy and political will should not be procrastinated. We note with high level of concern, however, the continued delay in the KCM Vedanta transition process, which has taken a long time, considering the urgency of the matter for the dwindling mining prospects and socio-economic status of the copper belt and Zambia as a whole. The droughts that have inflicted severe hardships on Zambians, jeopardizing food security, livelihood, and economic stability will therefore require, as a matter of urgency, the government operationalize not only KCM and Mopani, but all other mining firms to increase financial capacity.
Trade Kings Foundation has handed over a renovated mother's shelter to the University Teaching Hospital worth over 400,000 kwacha, which will over 70 mothers. Speaking during the handover ceremony, Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary in charge of administration, Dr. Christopher Simonga, says the initiative by the foundation complements government's efforts in achieving best outcomes for the health sector. Dr. Simonga says local cooperating partners in the health sector must emulate Trade Kings in complementing government's efforts in improving health service delivery in the country. Meanwhile, Trade Kings Foundation Public Relations Manager Bridget Kambowe says the foundation is keen on ensuring that the health sector is improved.
Today's event is indeed a validation of the solid relationship we share with them. Distinguished invited guests, the government of Zambia recognizes the role of partners such as Trade Kings and indeed other partners continue to play in improving the health sector in our country. The Ministry of Health will continue to provide a conducive environment to enable partners participate and support us in the provision of quality healthcare services to the people of this great nation. It is through the contribution and involvement of partners such as what we are witnessing today that accords the Ministry of Health an opportunity to channel resources which may have been used to this project to other important health activities.
We recognize the role that the women have played in contributing to what the business has grown into now. We not only have footprints in 9 countries in Africa, we have grown into a group of companies, 7 companies in the group. And for that reason, I would like to say that we remain resolute. We remain resolute as Trade Kings Foundation to continue contributing to the efforts that are being made by government to provide quality health care, which of course speaks to universal health coverage. We know that that is one of your visions, that is one of your objectives, but especially to curb any mortalities, to curb any complications in maternal health. And for that reason, we are proud this morning, and I emphasize that we are proud this morning to hand over back the mother's shelter following the renovations that have been going on.
Minister of Finance and National Planning, Tumbeko Msokotwane, has called on stakeholders to realign their budgets to respond to the threatened national food security. Dr. Msokotwane says government expects all stakeholders to comprehensively respond to the disaster and emergency by coming up with short-term and long-term measures. He says the measures should include the reduction of wastage of water through investments in water harvesting facilities. Dr. Msokotwane said this in a speech read on his behalf by Secretary to the Cabinet, Patrick Kangwa, during the opening of the first National Development Coordinating Committee, NDCC, for 2024. The Ministry of Health has successfully recruited 314 health workers who volunteered at various cholera centers in the country. Civil Service Commission Chairperson Jolwe Bayani says the appointment of the volunteer health workers was made through a concise validation process against the background of 853 validated volunteers. Dr. Bayani adds that the appointment of 314 health workers includes 95 junior resident medical officers, 100 registered nurses, 28 clinical officer general, 46 environmental health technicians, 15 medical laboratory technicians, 6 pharmacy technologists, 19 public health nurses, 4 biomedical scientists, and 1 pharmacist. He says the appointments of the remaining volunteers will continue in a phased approach until at a time that all of them have been absorbed into the system.
In this period, over 314 positions have been identified. These include the following: 9 junior resident medical officers, 100 registered nurses, 28 clinic officer general, 46 environmental health technicians, 6 pharmacy technologists, 19 public health nurses, 4 biomedical scientists, and 1 pharmacist. The total to 314. This is against the background of 853 validated health professional volunteers in all the cholera centers. The Commission has proceeded to appoint the 314 health workers as phase 1 of the process. We're emphasizing as phase 1 of the process. Continue in a phased approach until all the volunteers have been absorbed.
Oxfam Zambia has handed over assorted project assets aimed at enhancing vulnerable communities in southern and western provinces in the wake of climate change. The items, which include 3 Toyota Land Cruisers, laptops, and other office furniture, are believed to be a mitigation measure in response to the recent announcement by President Hakainde Hichilema's declaration of the 2023-2024 farming season as a national disaster. Speaking during the handover ceremony, Oxfam Country Director Yvonne Chibia says Oxfam is committed at complementing government's efforts in uplifting the lives of vulnerable communities. In receiving their donations, Western Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Richard Mlwanda says the gesture by Oxfam gives the two provinces an opportunity to respond to challenges faced by communities in Mongu and Kaoma districts, respectively.
We are here at Oxfam head office here in Lusaka to witness the handover of motor vehicles and the office equipment. Very, very wonderful equipment to help the projects run efficiently and effectively. As a province, I speak on behalf of Western Province. As Western Province, we are privileged to be part of their list in terms of support. So they are supporting Kaoma and Mongu districts. They are reaching vulnerable women, youth, to generally uplift their livelihoods.
It is expected to reach 50,600 people directly from vulnerable households, including female, child, and elderly-headed households in all the 4 districts of Gwembe and Namwala in Southern Province and Mongu and Kaoma districts in Western Province. Ladies and gentlemen, the mentioned number of beneficiaries will be reached through various activities in humanitarian development and peace building, as well as climate change adaptation and resilience and building resilience of the communities.
Marketeers in Lusaka's Mtendere market have bemoaned the high cost of fuel, which is largely affecting their business. Speaking in an interview with Millennium TV, the marketeers say the continued high cost of doing business is making it hard for them to maintain relatively low prices. They have since appealed to governments to look into their plight and further reduce the cost of palm prices.
High cost of transportation has greatly affected marketeers in Mutendere. Several marketeers in Mutendere are complaining about the high prices of transportation, saying it's greatly affecting their businesses. Speaking in an interview with Millennium TV News, marketeers have expressed sadness and they are calling on government to come up with solutions that can alleviate the problem.
Ile chilamo nese tuleoda kafire kwata profeti so abantu mchalo balelilenda lama tabakwete nangu chimo pani nangu wode kapale flechitika ero mwe bane mikala manda amarent ala natu chule chine transport we sheniko kachinga ni fuel mwebe ne we sheniko fuel mwe bantu.
Okay, my stock affect in terms of monga like wakafaka change beo bakalundira kuja eleni uzapeze kati ndrama transport sikwani chikaili nishwafaka business eleni upeze kati sometimes tumapupeza ati oro na washota kwando manje kugwira manje ku business man so that you stay tackle bus fare.
Since the increment of fuel, we have faced a lot of challenges as marketeers at here in Tendele market. The prices of the chicken, since we deal with layers, they have increased. Before the fuel prices has gone high, we used to sell my layers at 65. But at the moment you can see we are selling them at 75. The farmers where we are getting the chickens from, they are complaining that the transportation has gone high together with the price they are buying the feed, which they are feeding the chickens. So that's why they are also it resulted in increasing the prices of the layers.
Reporting for Millennium TV News, Justina K. Mandona.
You're watching the Millennium TV main evening news. We take a break. We have international and sports news coming up. Stay tuned.
Sela kunongu mwenzeko, kafe baka moyo wangu ndi
all in my head. Fruticana zona.
Fruticana. Feel the...
Welcome back. In international news, Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, is charting new territory by considering the establishment of an oil trading arm, potentially headquartered in London, to facilitate the operations of his upcoming refinery venture in Nigeria. Sources close to the matter have revealed the strategic move could sideline major global trading entities which have been engaged in extensive negotiations for months, aiming to provide financial backing and crude oil supplies to Dangote's refinery in exchange for product exports. Anticipation is high within the trading community as the colossal 650,000 barrel per day refinery gears up to reshape global oil and fuel dynamics. According to insiders speaking to Reuters, Dangote appears poised to take matters into his own hands. The newly proposed trading division is expected to be spearheaded by former ESA trader Radha Mohan, who assumed the role of Director of International Supply and Trading at Dangote in 2021, as indicated by his LinkedIn profile. The construction of the refinery, a project spanning nearly a decade, incurred costs of approximately $20 billion, overshooting the initial budget by $6 billion. At a brief ceremony held Monday, March 4th at the ESC headquarters in Arusha, Tanzania, Somalia's Minister of Commerce and Industry, Jibril Abdirashid Haji, presented the instrument of ratification to the bloc's Secretary General, completing the admission process. ESC Secretariat Head Peter Matuki said the move will enable Somalia to kick off the process of joining ESC's area of cooperation. The areas include trade, investment, industrial development, and free movement of people, labor, and services. He added, the roadmap will detail how Somalia will implement the ESC's 4 pillars: the customs union, common market, monetary union, and political federation. Somalia first applied to join in 2012. And now in sports news, Oriental Quarries Boxing Promotions, OQBP, has urged professional boxers to always exhibit good behavior, as this will be an added advantage to their career. Speaking when he addressed the media, OQBP manager Christopher Malunga says that a good image from boxers attracts interest from corporates and the general public, which can be used to improve their skills. Malunga also states that boxer David Mwale has been given a new opponent in the bantamweight fight slated for 6th April 2024 at Lusaka's new government complex, as Gabriel Chienya of Kenya pulled out of the fight due to weight challenges. He adds that the total budget for the fight is 910,000 kwacha, and they have managed to raise 546,000 kwacha, which is about 60% of the total budget.
Gabriel Chienya from Kenya pulled out because he was having a challenge in terms of weight. He reduced to get into the bantamweight category, and the Kenyan Boxing Board of Control got in touch with us and the African Boxing Union, and the African Boxing Union and the Kenyan Boxing Board of Control brought the name of James Mugeni, another Kenyan boxer who has got a record similar to Dave, and is an expert in terms of knockouts. He has 3 technical knockouts out of 7, and he has 1 KO, which is knockout, and he has 1 unanimous decision, and he has got 1 RTD. RTD stands for retired. The boxer was beaten, then he couldn't stand the punches, then he retired. When he goes to the corner, he couldn't come back. Then the other one is a loss. So the record is similar. He's an expert, very dangerous fighter, and you give Davey a very, very good fight. And we are happy that Davey is more than ready for this challenge, and is looking forward to the same bout. And at the same tournament, there is a men supporting bout involving Precious Somali's fighting Hassan Milan.
Ends the news. Let's go through stories making headlines once again. ZRA thwarts 80,000 litres ethanol smuggling. Government urged to keep its promise of handing over KCM to Vedanta. Trade Kings Foundation hands over a renovated mother's shelter to UTH at a cost of over 400,000 kwacha. Realign budgets to respond to threatening food security, stakeholders urged. In international news, Nigeria's Dangote to set up oil trading arm for Lagos mega refinery. And in sports news, athletes urged to exhibit good behavior. Thank you so much for your time. On behalf of the entire news team, my name is Given Banda. Good night and enjoy the rest of the broadcasting.